JJ got
Lou
all his
Rawls.
stuff back.
I'm back. I got
Never
yes. It
mind
got
another
repossessed.
girl.
Yeah, Lou Rawls.
Oh man, Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls. Um. Oh, who else? Barry White.
Oh, baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
baby.
Oh gosh, I heard Barry White on the radio years ago, and his voice literally changed overnight. He came downstairs at about the age of 12 and asked his mom what's for breakfast, and she nearly screamed because he went, "What's for breakfast? What's for breakfast?"
Yeah. Oh, Barry White.
Oh
Mm.
wow, how cool!
I'm an Al Green man. I like that. He's got the higher
Oh,
pitch.
let's
Al
stay
Green.
together. One of the
Oh,
great,
yeah.
and that I every time I hear that song now, I think of that scene in Pulp Fiction when they're in the bar, the first time you meet Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames' character, and they're playing that in the background. Just great movie.
Perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. Well, start off. Please like us on Facebook. You can contact us through one card, one cup, one beer at gmail.com. Those of you who are viewing us on the YouTube channel, please like and subscribe to us so you will have our content as soon as it drops. And I mean, who wouldn't want this crap as soon as it drops? So
I do.
yeah, that's right. That's right. You can support us through Patreon. You just need to go to patreon.com. You search one Cardinal, one Cub, and one beer, and you can find a level that fits your budget monthly, and you can support our efforts, and that is greatly appreciated. If you do want to be a contestant in one of our trivia contests, a guest on a panel, if you have an interesting baseball story and expertise, something of that nature where you would make a pretty good guess, let us know. If you are an expert on beer, not necessarily like a real expert, but if you know more about beer than us, which means if you have a sophomore in high school understanding about beer, come talk to us about beer because, I mean, everything I do, I'm looking up because I'm not a beer connoisseur, and JJ's never had a drop of alcohol. So,
I haven't.
so you're probably saying, why did you call yourself one Cardinal, one Cub, and one Diet Coke? I don't know. Mountain Dew, that would have been more appropriate. JJ,
Oh,
I wanted to show you these. When
all
we went to
right.
the game earlier this summer, my daughter Evelyn, she's a photographer, and she took a bunch of pictures, and this is a picture she took of me and Kathy at the game.
I love it.
Yeah,
She's very good.
pretty good.
Outstanding. That's a picture of love right there.
Yeah,
Al
and
Green should be playing when you show that picture.
oh, wait till you see this.
All
And
right.
this is something that looks like it came out of Look magazine in 1948. Look at that.
Oh, yes.
It's hard
Oh
to see the
man.
player. See the player down there. She got the whole stadium up there, the light tower. I think that's just a beautiful picture.
Outstanding. She does great
So
work, man.
yeah, we're this fall we're turning Violet's bedroom into our bedroom, and then we're turning our bedroom into a TV room, and those are going to hang in the TV room. I'm very
Outstanding.
very charged about those. Very proud. JJ,
Capture those moments.
yeah. How are you doing?
Oh man, we've had a whirlwind week. Me and Brody were up in Milwaukee, 2 games. We got to see the Reds and the Dodgers. We got to go take a tour of the ballpark. And then Saturday, Vince, I'm gonna say it was a highlight of the week. We made our way down to Chicago and through all that traffic, they had the Bears playing, you got the Cubs playing, and then they were getting ready for the Democrat convention. So traffic was all over the place. We parked about a mile and a half away, walked, had a great time, 2 rain delays, uh, and saw the Cubs beat the Blue Jays. And it came down to the final out. I got some good merch here. I got my commemorative cup from the Cubs right there. Go see a ball game there. This is history. It was packed, and I tell you what, I give a lot of respect to the Cub fans. They're knowledgeable. They're enthusiastic. They have a great time. They play classic rock and roll. A lot of times you don't hear that these days when you go to the ballpark. Beautiful ballpark. You can see like Michigan from the ballpark. It looks for that stadium to be that old. It looks so good with the new lights, all the rooftops and everything. Absolutely loved it. We walked around the, we got there early, walked around the ballpark. It's like a big party afterwards. Everybody comes out there. I was last there in 2001. It's changed a lot. The outfield where the bleachers are on both sides of the road, still the same. But the other sides, now there's a hotel, there's more businesses in there, and a lot of things to do for the fans. And a lot of the bars there have batting cages. So get there early, get in there, have a few, you know, manly drinks, and get in there and take some swings and see how you can do. Good time though. And the Cubs, I tell you what, the Cubs and the Blue Jays, just a great game. And it turned into a bullpen game, which we'll talk about later for the Cubs, and they ended up winning it.
Very good. Awesome. And we have magically a video montage of your trip to Milwaukee and Chicago. And we're going to enjoy that right now.
Vince, it's out of commission right now. Vince, this is the euchre room.
Yep. Clay and volcanic.
Vince Cully, very nice.
Yeah, and before the game, they're gonna water it, but they'll run it in a rake. They got the rake, and it'll pop up, give them a little crunchy feel. So I think that's rice terrain and self-relic there, whatever shoot they're doing for them. They're warming up on the field. A couple of our players. Yeah, so this is Bob Euchre's booth right here, right? So you guys, that's a picture of Bob right up there in his youth, right? 200 marks, balls dinged in, and sometimes people have a tendency to, they think there's a ball in there. So they had to
They mark all the balls that come into the press
they patched
box
everything
right
up, and so they started tradition again in 2023, right? So.
Hey Vince, when you think of Milwaukee Brewers, there's only a handful of players I first think of, and Bob Uecker might be second on the list, only to Henry Aaron. So there's the old Uecker statue right here in front of the stadium, sort of like the Stadium Usual in St. Louis. Vince, they have these around the ballpark honoring all the great Brewers through the years, and of course Harvey Keene. That takes me back to 1982 and the World Series with Harvey's Wallbangers. So there he is.
This is what Bernie looks like. Coming down the slide, right? There he is. Coming down the slide. So, yeah, Brewer hits a home run. Bernie goes down that slide. We shoot off fireworks up there behind the AmFam sign. And that lights up there. And that's a Eucharism up there. And if we would have heard the video or watched the video and heard the audio, he goes, get up, get out of here, gone. That lights up, and that's what Bob did. And so, yeah, if you ever see the backdrop, post-game interview, that's where it happens right here. It's a multi-purpose room. Got a screen that drops down. So they hold meetings, business meetings, and that kind of stuff in here, and they serve them food. That represents the Brewers fan base, all of us, except for you LA people, and a couple of St. Louis people, or what else we got in here. This represents that white field, the city of Milwaukee, and that's the state of Wisconsin. And now the thumb and forefinger are joined, just indicating that we just signed an agreement. The Brewers will be here through 2051, I think, is the date. And of course, we got the goldenrod yellow highlight color, and our new backdrop color is the navy. When they moved us off the field, we had a concert here. It takes 3 or 4 months to move it off the field. And there's about 10 guys helping out on it. Major League Baseball, another little idiosyncrasy, said whether you've got a roof that opens and closes.
Hey Vince, look how they treat us Cardinal fans here. $4 for a Gatorade. Well Vince, we're in a rain delay. Look at that. And that Cubby grounds crew, top notch. Sometimes people get ate up by the tarp. Oh look, it's got the Cub thing on it. Look at that. Record time. Oh, come on, pull it guys.
Pull it. Yeah!
Go, go, go!
Oh, JJ, that was really cool. But
Oh, good
you want to know,
times.
you want to know what the coolest thing you did that I haven't shown anybody yet?
I'm
You
scared to
invented
ask.
a new game.
Oh, yes. The
Yeah,
10 questions in a
the
minute.
10
Yeah.
questions game.
Did you like that?
This guy is awesome. Yeah, yeah. Let's look at that now.
Hey Vince, this is JJ from One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, and we're playing the hottest game in the nation right now. 10 questions in 1 minute, and I've got a good friend here right here. He's ready to answer those 10 questions, and he's up to the challenge. Can I get your name, sir?
I'm Jeff Lane. I'm originally from Los Angeles, but now I'm in North Dakota.
North Dakota, and we're here in front of the American Family Insurance Stadium, the Brewers' home. And sir, okay, are you ready for the
I'm
10
ready.
questions? All right. What is your favorite team, sir?
Let's see here. There's this team called the Dodgers.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah.
All right. And do you have a least favorite team?
Let's see here. That would be the San Francisco Giants and, the New York Yankees.
All right. I like that answer right there. He's got 2 down, 8 to go. All right. Favorite Dodger player of all time?
All time, number 10, third baseman, the Penguin, Ron Say.
Love Ron Say. Also a Cub. All right.
Yes.
Current favorite Dodger?
Current favorite Dodger? Ooh, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one.
I'd say Kiki Hernandez.
Oh, hey, I like that. Very unusual answers. I like that. Now, since it's One Cardinal, One Cub, do you have a favorite Cardinal of all time?
Favorite? Ooh.
If you do.
Albert.
Oh, that's right. He played with the Dodgers. That's
Favorite
right.
Dodgers. Yachty.
Oh, he's got 2.
I could go on a whole list of favorite Cardinals.
What about favorite Cub of all time? Do you have a favorite Cub?
Favorite Cub of all time? Ooh. Jeez. Ron Say.
Oh, very good. Ron Say Mania, baby.
Cheap answer.
All right. Where are the Dodgers going to finish this year?
Oh, where do I think, or where will they?
Where do you think?
I think they don't even get past the wild card.
Ooh, okay.
Again.
Okay, for your sake, I hope they go all the way. And last question, who is going to win the National League Central?
National League Central. Ooh.
Yeah, you got the Brewers out in the lead right now. You got the Cardinals, Cubs. You got the Pirates and the Reds.
Boy, if I would want the Cardinals to win, but
yes,
I'm afraid they had too much of a low streak at the beginning of the year, and I'm thinking these guys.
Oh, the Brewers. I agree. I understand. Well, sir, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So nice to meet you.
You too.
Now, where'd you find this guy?
We went on a tour. He came in. He's a Dodger fan. Don't hold that against him. He came in and they were asking questions, and me and him were answering the questions. And then after the tour, we got talking, and I said, "Hey, got a podcast? Would you like to come on?" And he goes, "I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about talking in front of people." I said, "I'll take care of you. I want to know about you." So I'm just going to, and I didn't have any questions. I just made them up as we went, and we had a great time. And we've got a fan of the show now. He's reached out. He's watching the show. He was excited. And so from time to time, I'm going to just corner somebody, buy them a beer, and just find out about them and their fandom. I think that's kind of cool.
That's awesome. Well, you spoke about a manly drink. It's time for the beer.
Ooh, yes.
I am going to Canada. Well, not really. But I'm going to Canada for their famous Moosehead beer.
Moosehead beer.
I first heard of Moosehead beer when I was a kid growing up. My dad used to take us fishing in northern Wisconsin. And I remember once we were at a store, he said, "Hey, they've got Moosehead beer here." And I thought, "What's Moosehead beer?" He said, I said, "What's Moosehead beer?" He said, "Oh, it's a Canadian beer." So I actually found some Moosehead beer here, and me, I get to use my opener again. Ah,
Ah,
and I
it's
got my
smoking.
frosted World's Greatest Grandpa frosted mug here. Oh yeah. Now let's have the history of Moosehead beer.
I can smell it
Yeah,
from here.
yeah, do not confuse it with Squirrelhead beer.
Yeah, that's not good.
Moosehead, Squirrelhead. I've been watching a lot of yes, I am 58, but I have been watching a lot of Rocky and Bullwinkle because
The
on
best.
Friendly TV they now have a channel called Me Tunes, and then there's Rocky and Bullwinkle on there. I actually record it on the cloud so I can watch it. It is still so funny. So
Timeless.
anyway, let's talk about Moosehead beer. Moosehead has been led by the Olin family since 1867. Jeez, making
Experience.
making them the last major brewery in Canada still owned by Canadians. Can you believe that? In that big country, there's only one major brewing company that's still owned by Canadians, and that is Moosehead. The history is as rich as the flavor of the beer. Today, they exist to reawaken and reward the courage to go after what's difficult. Because we know that obstacles are opportunities to show the world what we are capable of. And that's a good mantra to live by.
I like that.
Moosehead is located in St. John, New Brunswick, in Canada. And in 1937, they brewed their first lager. And the Olin family's passion for beer helped them to steer Moosehead through some devastating fires, Prohibition, the Great Depression, two world wars, obstructive trade barriers, bruising competition for breweries 100 times the size. Through it all, their dedication to serving Canadians has never wavered. Here is to hockey. Here is to Canada. Here is to Rush Moosehead beer.
You named all the good stuff. Maple Leafs. Pretty good.
3.5. Not bad.
3.5. See that he gives an honest opinion.
3.5. Very good.
3.5.
JJ, what's going on in
Yes, sir.
fantasy baseball?
Oh, we're down to the final.
Wait a minute. Let's rename this segment. JJ, how depressed is Dan Rutledge?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Well, he's pretty depressed. Matter of fact, he was eliminated last week. I think he's sort of put up the white flag. I'm going to start out with the teams that have been eliminated. All right, so we'll get that out of the way. In the American League, we had Dan Rutledge and the Chicago White Sox in last place. And guess what? They're still in last place. 30 and 96, 40 and a half games back with 11 to go. You do the math. He ain't making it. But this week, joining him on the outside looking in is the California Angels and Candy Burks, who's had a great time with her son following the Angels. I know. RIP Angels, RIP. And they are 17 games back with 11 to play, 53 and 72. So much promise. Every year it seems like the Angels are going to start turning the corner, and so much disappointment, And so there's the two teams. Now, the teams that are still in it with 11 games to go, Brody Jackson and the Kansas City Royals are 70 and 55 and in first place, and they pulled ahead a little bit. Yes, congratulations. Brody Jackson made a small cameo in last week's episode. But behind him, all alone in second place now, is the Boston Red Sox. 4.5 back with 11 days to go, and they are 65 and 59. Falling back, and Seattle Mariners, Andrew Gieselman, our beer friend at Busch Stadium, 6.5 back with 11 days to go. And in fourth place, the Detroit Tigers and Tony Pruno, 9 games back with 11 days to go. So at the end of this month, who's ever in first place, that's the team going. And right now, the Royals are rolling, and Brody's hanging on to that first place. He's been there most of the season. The Royals have had a good year this year. Over in the National League, last week we knew the Colorado Rockies were out of it. They are 24.5 back, and they were eliminated last week. Well, joining them this week is two teams. So we say goodbye to Tom Majay and the Washington Nationals. They are 14.5 back. Tom, it was a good year. You put in a
Sorry,
good
Tom.
fight. Yeah, I know. It's sad. And and the Pittsburgh Pirates have faded here. And I know they're out. They are 12 out with 11 days to go. And that's our good friend Dennis Rose, who watches faithfully every week.
Sorry.
So we're down to 3. I know. Life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. But the 3 teams that are still in it, and 2 of them are barely, you got the San Diego Padres, who have just caught fire. Max Schultz should get some points for Manager of the
Manager of
Year,
the year, yeah.
along with Robbie Spear, who's guiding this fantasy team. And they're in first place, and they have a 9-game lead with 11 days to go. And the only team stopping them from getting to that World Series are the Cardinals and the Cubs. The Cardinals are 9 back. I know we laugh. Yeah, it's a good one. We're 9 games back with 11 to go, and that's good old Kevin Lee. And 9.5 back, the Cubs with Larry Wildy just hanging on by the skin of their teeth, and they're going to have to get hot, and then something's going to have to happen to San Diego. They're going to have to lose their directions to the ballpark or something. But right
I have
now,
a feeling next week we will be crying real tears.
oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
both
that's
of
right.
us.
But Vince, I want to say this about the season. Uh, Expectation wise, I think the Cardinals and the I mean, we're right there as a solid team. I don't think we're a great team, but we're moving in the right direction. I think both teams are a little bit better. We got a lot of young core, and this year it's like a lot of the teams are kind of equal. I don't see one juggernaut team. I mean, on paper, there's been so many injuries, and this year uh, there is a the best team in baseball is the Phillies right now at 73 and 51, and then the Dodgers and the Orioles and the Yankees, the Guardians, and then the Brewers. And their run differential, and this year at the pace they're at right now, the best team would at this pace would only win 95 games. And this is the first year since 2014 that there will not be, as of this moment, 100-win season. So I look at it that year. We only won 71 last year. I believe we've got 61 this year with 6 weeks to go. It's been a better year, but really we're right there with most other teams. There's not a team out there that's just ran over everybody. We all had our ups and downs. We got some strengths, we got some weaknesses. Sometimes nothing goes right, sometimes we're on a roll. But as far as this year, with this kind of equality amongst the league, it's not been a bad year. It's been a fun year, and man, it hurts when you lose, but it's great when you win. But I can't. I really don't know what kind of team the Cardinals are this year. Sometimes they look like, oh my gosh, this is last 2023 part 2, and then sometimes I'm like, man, we're a lot better than we were last year. So I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, Vince.
I just know with the Cubs, the team that we had in for most of April and from the All-Star game on has been a very good team. The problem was we had devastating injuries to our bullpen, and I liked some of the arms that we had coming up, but like Luke Little, I loved him. Arm or disabled list. I loved what's Biggie? His name Hunter. We brought him up. He had a dynamite arm, but the Rays wanted him, and we wanted Paredes, so he went to the Rays. So I think we're a better team than our record shows. But that being said, we are what we are. We're a team that made a lot of mistakes in May and June and didn't compensate for them. And it's another testament that sometimes you can't wait for the trade deadline. Sometimes you gotta pull the trigger to save the season. And I'm not saying that you get rid of Imanaga and Steele, but I'm saying maybe we could have gotten rid of somebody of some quality in return for a bullpen arm, someone in the back of the bullpen that would have shut the door. And as we're going to see pretty soon, we're still having problems with the back end of the bullpen, but as of this morning, it got a little better. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
I've read it in a couple of articles, and I don't remember who floated it, if this is serious consideration. But there's the argument that not for the sake of the game, but for the sake of pitching, um, to require starters to go 6 innings. That way they would learn to pace themselves. They wouldn't get their arms torn up and injured at the alarming rate they're going now. There's pros and cons to it. I do like the pros. I do like the pros that, hey man, you've got to learn how to pitch, you know. And that's one of I think old timers, not just you and me. I'm talking about people of our generation, maybe the generation under us and the generations that are above us. What we say when we say we don't like the pitch count and all this other stuff, what we're saying is pitchers don't know how to pitch anymore, because it used to be you're expected to go 7, 8, 9 innings, especially if you're a front of the rotation person, and you had to pace yourself. Could Bob Gibson have thrown 98? 99? Sure. But he sat at about 93, 94 and relied on his breaking ball because you had to pace yourself. What that would do is it would bring back pitching. And I'm talking about pitching more from your head than from your arm. The great pitchers who knew how to outthink people, the Greg Maddoxes, the Don Suttons, the Tommy Johns, the Jim Cotts, Randy Jones, people who didn't have the most dominating stuff, but they knew how to pitch and they knew how to get outs. The cons are, what if your starting pitcher gives up 8 runs in the first inning? You know,
Yeah,
if
right.
if you're going to do that, you're also going to have to say 6 innings or 110 pitches, something like that, because someone gets blown up, you know, with an 8-run inning and they've got a 43 pitch first inning. Geez, man, by the
Yeah.
time they get to that 6th inning, their arm may be falling off. I don't think it's ever going to go through, because I think it would be such a dramatic change in the rules that people would be uncomfortable with it. I'm not saying I'm comfortable with it. I'm saying I understand the logic, and I like the thinking that we need to do something to get starting pitchers to pull back a bit, so you don't have entire starting staffs going on the IL. The most fortunate thing about the Cubs staff is we don't have any fireballers. And Imanaga, Steele, low 90s, that's where their fastball sits. Tyon can hit 95, but he's usually sitting about 93, somewhere around there. Assad, you know, he sits in the low 90s on a good day. And Hendricks, he sits at 42 miles an hour with his fastball. So
He gives
so
us fits.
yeah. So we've been one of the teams that have had some good luck with the health on the starting pitching, but we don't have guys who are out there airing it out all the time. So I just thought that was a very interesting way to attack the problem that I'm not real comfortable with. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, anything they implement, it's usually done in the minor leagues first. They take a look at it and everything. Vince, I am old school. Yeah, I'm old. Everything I do, old is in the front of every word you would say after that. But when I go to a game, like when we went to the Cub and Blue Jay game, oh, Justin Steele's going to pitch. This is going to be great. I like the teams, but I like the pitching matchup. Like Brody would say, you know, oh, let's go see the Cardinals and the Giants, but I want to go when Webb's pitching so we can see him pitch. I said, oh, that's great, because you're there. Sonny Gray and Webb matched up, and I thought, oh, that's going to be a great matchup. Now, but I like the organic thing of baseball where, you know, sometimes you just don't have it, and the guy is getting rocked, or there's a certain player coming up, or maybe there's three righties in a row and he has trouble with the righties. So I don't like it because it would take some of the strategy, I think, out of it. But I do think it's as a manager, I think it would be easy to play your best players, to throw that bullpen in there, try to get every win you can. But sometimes I think you got to save that bullpen because we're seeing a lot of teams that just Dusty Baker, who is a great player, great coach, but he always was criticized for just running his pitchers into the ground. And a lot of teams now, their bullpens are just worn out. Here we are, August, they're worn out. And if you can get those starters maybe an extra inning or two, and I think the really good teams do that. They try to get that starter a little longer, save that bullpen. Part of the Cardinal success, well, we've got a different team than we had last year, but now Helsley is just the ninth inning. He's not coming in getting a 2 inning save. And those relievers are four best kind of know their place in that bullpen. So to answer the question, Vince, I just like the more organic how it goes. Sometimes, and I'm sure there'd be caveats like rain delays. You could probably take them out then. If a possible injury, you could take them out early. But then that might lead to, hey, arms feel stiff. Okay, let's get you out of there, that kind of thing. So I really don't like that rule. I just think through trial and error, we might see pitchers and certain ones too. It's usually a veteran pitcher that they let go a little bit further. I know Skeens, the Pirates are letting him go a little bit further too. I know he hasn't thrown this many innings, but they're letting him go. Hunter Green is throwing more innings this year, but of course he's been in the big leagues now for about 3 years. So I'm kind of anti mandatory 6 innings though.
Yeah, I'm not saying I like the rule. I'm saying I like
It's interesting.
they're trying to address something.
Yeah,
Back in the day, a starter pitcher would try to get by on just the fastball, maybe throw the secondary pitch during the first time through the lineup, just to throw a wrinkle in there. The second time, let's say your secondary pitch is a slider. They would go fastball slider the second time through, and then let's say they also had a changeup. They usually didn't break that out till the third time through.
that's right.
So you could show different wrinkles during the game with the same pitcher. But nobody does that anymore. I mean, Tyon throws about 6 pitches, and I've seen by the second inning, he's throwing all 6 pitches. Yeah,
That's true. Sometimes in one at bat.
yeah. And I know why everybody goes for the strikeout, because you don't need defense against a strikeout. You just need the catcher to catch the ball. But like I said last week, if I'm a major league hitter and it's 0-2, there's no way I'm going to swing at the next pitch. It's never a strike. And to me, that's a wasted pitch. If you're going to throw a non-competitive pitch 8 inches outside and hope he chases, and most of the time he's not because it's 0-2, I can't believe it when I actually see someone swing at 0-2. I'm like, what are you doing that for? They're not going to throw you a strike. But, like Maddox, he would be 0-2 against somebody. Went for the strikeout right there, Had a left-hander up, he'd throw that inside fastball and it'd break right over the corner and jam him, or he'd get the strikeout. Eckersley, when he pitched, he didn't waste time. He got his share of strikeouts, but he didn't just nibble, he just,
Yeah,
but I think the old adage, the most important pitch you can throw is strike one.
I
And
agree.
if maybe players weren't so worried about their velo and a little more concerned about location, then you could get hitters out on fewer pitches, because you don't have to go 0-2 and think, well, got to throw this one, into the stands, see if he swings at it. Throw a competitive pitch. And if you got control, and you get a called strike, or, if it's a pitch that is borderline, but they know you've got good control, so the hitter's going to be in swing mode anyway. I think that's one of the ways you can save the arms. But we're getting to a point where they've got to do something, because this whole philosophy is screwed up. Oh, just throw as hard as you can and get your Tommy John surgery over with, and then rehab it and come back. And now you got players who are on the third Tommy John surgeries. where are they finding tendons at now throughout the body? I don't know, you know.
Legs. I'm not sure.
Bring your kid to the game, and we're gonna take a tendon out because you need your fifth Tommy John surgery, and we've taken them all from your wife. So, um,
Even when they're scouting people, they're just it's sexy. They'll see that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's the one we want right there. You know, somebody like Greg Mannix might have to. Although he threw pretty hard at the time. I mean, he wasn't a flamethrower, but he threw hard. His fastball was fast, but then you throw in his changeup and everything. He was just almost unhittable, that guy. But he might have to work a little harder to make it to the pros because you had your people who flamethrower kind of guys. But that's who they go for. They want the home run hitter and the batters, the guy with the launch angles, and then the strikeout guys pitching.
yeah,
That's kind of what people see.
to bring this to a Cardinal perspective for people who are Cardinal fans, go look a video of when John Tudor pitched. He didn't mess around. I mean, he threw the ball over the plate, but he had great location, and he understood what he was doing against which hitters. And a lot of success in pitching is knowing the game plan against the hitter, knowing what their weaknesses are compared to your strengths and pitching accordingly. I don't even know why some like your Justin Verlanders, your Paul Skeens, why do players like that even need to look at the scouting report? Because they're going to do the same thing. Hard, and then throw a breaking ball.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you watch the Little League Classic?
I saw parts of it. I saw parts of it. I've loved the idea, and baseball's doing this more and more. They're going on the road. This is the kids. Little League is still going on. The Little League World Series is huge.
I was
And
just watching Cuba and Mexico before I came down here. So I mean, it's
Venezuela and Japan. Venezuela never gave them a run for like 8 games, then lost 2-1 to Japan. That was great.
well, the Little League Classic. The Tigers did beat the Yankees. A walk-off single by Parker Meadows, which I thought was kind of a cool thing because there are so many Yankee fans there. So I did like that. But this is one of the great stories. 11 years ago, there was a pitcher, Holman, who pitched, and he threw a no-hitter in the Little League World Series. Yesterday, he reached the big leagues for the A's. So
How about that? Isn't that great?
pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I like how they intermingle with the little leaguers, and these are the fans of the future, or fans now anyway. But these are memories they'll never forget. I know Jazz Chisholm went down and just took
Oh,
a friend, and they hung out for the day, talked and everything. People were playing ping pong with these kids. I saw something I never saw. I saw a baseball the size of a grapefruit, and when the players were coming into the Little League World Series area, they had them sign the ball, and that's great because usually a little baseball, the signatures overlap, but this was like a grapefruit size one, and they were getting signed. So I thought that's a great idea. So whoever came up with that, that's a pretty good, cool idea. But what a game! The kids were really involved, and I hope they keep this up every year.
yeah. And speaking of Jazz Chisholm, Kathy and I were watching the game, and they were doing his interview with him, and she's like, "Who is that guy?" I said, well, he's really good. He's been an all-star, but he's been playing in Miami, so nobody knows about him. But now he's with the Yankees, so everybody's going to find out about him. But
That's
I
right.
remember a couple years ago when he was put on the cover of the show, and it was a little controversial because why you got someone from the Marlins on there, you know? Now he can be on the cover with his Yankee uniform and everybody be happy. So.
Oh yes, the Yankees. Speaking of the Yankees, this is a good segue. They have a kid that's coming up. He's the kid. His name is Jason Dominguez, and he's the kid they call the Martian because all of his talent is out of this world. And this is like what else do the Yankees need? They keep coming up with these guys, and what an outfield they have. Now they got this kid.
What else
And
do they need? They need a World Series championship, which they haven't had since before the Cubs, before the Cardinals, before all these teams have won the World Series since the Yankees. So
I know they spend all that money, they got all that talent, but I don't know what's going on there. But he was called up. Evidently, in the Little League World Series, they get to carry an extra man. This kid came up. He's built. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, 21 years old, and he last year he came up and was just lighting it up, but he had to have Tommy John surgery, so he's back now. And his last few games, he's been 7 for 17, hitting 412 with a home run and 3 RBIs. And he will come up on September 1st. I was reading that he'll be there, but that's going to be a big part of this. Teams are vying for the spots, and now they're going to get these extra guys coming in that some people have never seen. So it's going to be fun seeing a lot of these young guys the first time thrown into pennant races and things. But keep an eye on this kid here, Jason Dominguez, very young kid, and his future looks bright.
see, I think it's hard to judge how good of a hitter he's going to be in New York, being he's been hitting in that Martian atmosphere that's a lot lighter. So, I mean, the Earth atmosphere is a little bit different.
That's
So,
right. Look
we'll
out,
see
Martian.
if it translates. What color is he? Is he green?
He's got that. Well, I don't know. I'm always, my eyes are fixed on his antennas, so I
Yeah.
haven't really seen one.
So, Austin Riley is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured hand. It's like someone sneaks up to the Braves, an
Oh,
invisible person, and beats the heck out of somebody about every 2 weeks. So banged up. I don't know if they're going to be able to hang on.
I know. Well, they
It's
got a little lead. The Mets, the Cardinals, the Cubs, we're all back there about 4 games behind him. I'd like to see somebody jump in there and get him.
I feel bad for them. They
Oh,
got such a good team. They've been devastated by injuries. Speaking of injuries, the Diamondbacks, who've been red hot, I mean red hot. Kentel Marte is now on the IL. Um,
one of the core players on that
yeah,
team.
yeah,
Oh,
he and the first baseman, so underrated.
Walker.
Yes. Christian Walker. They are absolutely great. Problem is they play in Arizona and nobody pays much attention to Arizona until they make it to the World Series. You mentioned earlier, Hunter Green is also on the IL with elbow soreness. And I hate to sound mean, but that's probably it for the Reds. I don't see them uh, recovering from that. And did you see the Marlins turn an 8-9-4-2 double play?
You
Never
know
been
what?
done in Major League
I
Baseball.
I think I did see that. Run that back by me again. I see so many highlights and stuff. I can't remember that one now.
Okay, it's an eight
Okay,
nine
so
four two double play. Center fielder got the ball, and
he caught it in the air.
I don't remember. I don't think he caught it. Yes, he no, he didn't catch it in the air.
Okay.
Yes, he did catch it in the air. So caught it in the air for one out, and then he tossed the ball to the right fielder. So there's 8-9, who threw it into the second baseman and
Relayed it.
relayed it to the catcher as the runner was heading home.
Oh my
So
gosh.
so it's 8-9-4-2 double play.
Never happened before.
No. But
You,
you never see any play where there's, going from one outfielder giving the ball to another one for an assistant to play. Just doesn't happen. So it's kind of really cool. So
every once in a while, I see a team do that. If a guy's a fast and can field, and they've got a guy with a cannon, and it's one of those plays where it's a long fly ball or something like that, and they want to stop him from going to third, they'll flick it over to Rick Ankiel or somebody like that who can, throw a BB over there and maybe keep the guy at second. But yeah, you're right. I haven't seen that very often, and it's definitely a double play. That's wild.
yeah.
The Orioles, a team I think is on the brink of could be, but they've got 5 pitchers down, and Eflin, who they just got a trading deadline, is going to be out 15 days with arm soreness. And he came over and looked really good, and you thought, oh, Burns and Eflin 1-2. they're set up. They want a team, but now they've got a lot of injuries, and they did bring up Jackson Holiday. He came in for an injured guy, but man, it's going to be tough. So many injuries this year. The Phillies are all getting healthy at the right time, and the Padres are looking really good right now. But even those teams have some injuries as well. So I know JT Realmuto should be back real soon if he's not already. So Vince. There's really about 20 teams that still are in this that you don't know. They could get hot and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. You got anything else on general discussion?
I was looking. Since I went to Chicago, I wanted to look up the top selling T-shirts, and I wrote this down or jerseys, because you see a lot of jerseys at the ballpark. Went to the Cub game, and I seen it all the way back to Ernie Banks and all the way up to Darby Swanson. And I just was going to see what teams' jerseys sell the best. I couldn't find that, but I found out the best-selling jerseys through the All-Star break. And because every team thinks their guy is the best and most popular and everything. But Vince, I got the top 10 selling jerseys. Would you care to take a guess at some of these?
Number one, I'm going to say is the Dodgers.
Well, you name the player. Can you name the
Oh,
player?
Ohtani.
Yes, Ohtani by far. He's got the whole country of Japan and all of LA, and then half the rest of the country get behind his jersey. So number one is Ohtani.
Number two, Judge.
Number three, Judge.
Ooh.
I'm with you. I was a little surprised by that.
Number two, Harper.
Number two, Harper. Very good. He's so popular up there in that area.
Yeah. And number four, Tyler O'Neill.
Come on, it's BB Richards. No, I'll name off the 10 right now. And Vince, you got all three of the top three right there. Ohtani, Harper, Judge. Number four, Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, very popular. 5, Acuna Jr. Still very popular, and people are buying those jerseys. The Atlanta Braves jerseys do look good. Number 6, Soto. 7, Lindor. The Mets fans coming in there. 8, Tatis Jr. 9, Corey Seager from Texas Rangers. And the 10th most popular jersey is Altuve from the Houston Astros. So those are the top 10, and I think that's a reflection of probably the top 10 most popular players in our league.
Yeah. Yeah, that's if you're willing to part money for some of their items, then that's a really good gauge on how popular a player is.
The only Cardinal I seen on the top 20 list was Arenado. That's the only one we had up there.
Cubs have any?
No, I'm sorry. I was hoping so we'd have one of each on there, but not in the top 20.
Yeah. All right. Last thing, I mentioned this guy last week, and he had actually passed away before I mentioned him, but I didn't know it until later. Isn't it weird how sometimes you mention somebody that's obscure? I didn't have him in my notes or anything, and then the next day I found out he had passed away.
Oh,
Billy Bean, Bean, not the famed GM for the A's. Billy Bean, who played for the Mets and a few other teams, was a high prospect. He passed away, and he was the second former Major League Baseball player to come out as gay, and very fascinating life story. But rest in peace, Billy Bean. So what's going on in Cardinal news?
on Cardinal news, Vince, let me get over there to the Cardinal news. We have today, I heard that Brandon Crawford has been released. And they're bringing up, this is breaking news. I don't have it written down, but our big first baseman, who actually was kind of, a lot of the fans have been calling, bring him up. He's been so hot down there, and he's our most powerful power hitter in our minors. He's coming up. And Vince, off the top of my head, I cannot. I want to. Is it Luke Voigt? I can't remember his name. No, it's not Voigt. That was years ago. Can't think of the guy's name, but it slipped my mind.
Matt
But
Mervis.
no, it's not Matt Mervis, but he's coming up.
Last year,
And
everybody was like, Matt Mervis, that's our future, man. Now, I don't even know what he's doing nowadays. I guess he's still with AAA Iowa, but anyway, go ahead.
oh, but he's coming up, and I think it's time. And the Cardinals, we're in desperate mode now. We've got to go for this. We've got to. The Cardinals are always play, I guess, what they're favorites or something, but sometimes you got to put the guys in there that you just think give you the best chance of winning. And Jordan Walker, if we're out of it, let him play every day. He's up here, let him play. He's not hitting much, but I think that's part of the problem. He's not playing. So he's up, and then we've got our power hitting first baseman, and maybe in September 1st, we'll see some of these high acclaimed pitchers that's been doing fairly well down the minors. Vince, it was a terrible week for Cardinals. Absolute terrible week. The Cardinals were 50-46 going into the All-Star break. We thought, hey, we got something cooking. But I've said all along, I think we're just a 500 team. We might get 5 games up or 5 games below, but right in there, that's probably where we're at as a team. And I hope they prove me wrong on the good side of it. But since the All-Star game, Vince, we're 11-17, and every game's been a struggle. And there's been some games where it's not even competitive. And even but anyway, and we're 61-63 on the year. Last week when we taped, we were playing the Reds. We lost 1-4. Hunter Green owned us. He 8 strikeouts, just dominated. We only got 4 hits, and Arenado hit his 12th home run. Usually he's a 25-30 home run hitter, and he's got 12 so far this year. He is up to 270. He is doing better. And Fetty went 6 innings and gave up 4 runs and 2 home runs. The home runs killed us, but we just didn't hit. It didn't matter. We could have hit it. We just didn't hit that game. So they beat us 4-1. Wednesday was the last game against the Reds, and they swept us in Cincinnati, a park that teams usually come to life. And even if you've been struggling, you hit better in Cincinnati. We lost 9-2, and it just wasn't competitive. Things had even gotten worse. India hit 2 home runs. Friedel hit 2 home runs. Wynn did get 2 hits. Contreras got 2 hits. Donovan got 2 hits, but we lost 9-2. There's not much to celebrate there. So we get a day off. And I have to say this, I'm not making excuses, but the Cardinals were playing a lot of double hitters and a lot of games in a row, making up for rainouts. And they were filling in games there and going to different parks. So it was nice to get a day off. You think, hey, maybe we'll catch a break, but in comes the Dodgers, one of the best teams in baseball. Friday, we lost 7-6, and the point of the game, they had a 5-run 5th inning, and that was pretty much all she wrote. We got close into it again, but a guy I want to focus on, which we didn't even see this guy coming. We thought it was going to be Contreras and Ivan Herrera as our catchers. This Pages kid has done so good. He got 2 hits. He's been everything we could ask for defensively, but he's hitting 246. And if you guys remember early in the year, he was a below 200 hitter. So he's worked hard and he's become a much better hitter. And 246, I can deal with that with his defense. That's pretty good. But the Cardinals, we cannot stop the running game. It's no secret. The teams are just running all over us. Part of stealing bases is on the pitchers, and Podges gives us our best chance to get him, but teams are just running all over us. Goldie had a 2-run home run, and he's hitting 231, and it's just been a down year for Goldie. Defensively, fantastic, but he just hasn't hit much this year, but doing better of late. So we lose that Friday game. Saturday, the Cardinals win 1. Yeah, we got to win this week. We won 5-2, and Palante has pitched very well of late. He's got a knuckle curve that really sliced up the Dodgers. And as you know, that's a murderer row right there. Ohtani, Betts, and then Freeman, and Will Smith, and Max Muncy, on and on and on. And Palante got the win in that game. He went 7 innings and 2 earned runs. You do that against any team, that's a good day. 7 innings pitched in today's game is outstanding, but against the Dodgers and only giving up 2 runs, a quality start. Only walked 2. He struck out 5. And in that game, Helsley got his 38th save. And Helsley and old JoJo pitched the last 2 innings. And and we're on fire. And Burleson got 3 hits and hit his 21st home run. And besides Podges, Burleson's been a big uplift to our team. It's going to be exciting. I hope he keeps us up and is a big part of the team for years to come. The young core looks pretty good, and I'm excited about the future. And Sunday, we lose 2-1, and Clayton Kershaw outpitched Sonny Gray. And Sonny Gray only, gave up 2 runs, but he was on the ropes the whole game, and it probably should have been a much bigger win for the Dodgers. And Sonny Gray just held in there and held the fort. We lost 2-1, and Otani hit a home run. We were the last team he hadn't hit a home run against, and now he's hit a home run against every team. And what a player! That guy's just a fun to watch. Our bullpen did good, but Sonny Gray did not have a real good game. And for the week, Vince, we had 2 days off because Monday we were off. We were 1-4. Oh, that hurts. And the Red Series, we weren't even competitive. And the Dodgers, we played them pretty good, but they're beat up too, and they're having a few problems. So 1-4, horrible week. It's got to get better before it gets worse, Vince. I hope it gets a little bit better here real soon.
Okay. In Cub news, it's a big night in Chicago because this is the first night that Javi Baez has been back to Chicago since he left Chicago. I mean, he's played at South Side, but first time back in Wrigley. And I was reading a little writing on the overpaid the overpaid team for this year. And former Cubs Chris Bryant and Javi Baez are both on the overpaid team for this year. So,
Well, somebody's got to.
yeah, Javi's batting, yeah, bad. Okay. Anyway, uh, today we did DFA Hector Neris. He needed to be DFA'd. And Max texted me this morning and said we've DFA'd Neris. And I said, I think that's the only thing they could have done to stop Counsell to keep putting him out there to close games because he's had some stretches where he's pitched good, but even in the stretches where he's pitched good, he's kind of done it with mirrors, a lot of walks, a lot of hard contacts. But it seemed like, in those stretches, he would get the strikeout when he absolutely needed it, or they'd hit the ball to someone. But yeah, he needs to, maybe he'll latch on with someone else. I don't know, but I'm glad we parted ways with him. I like the guy. He's very positive influence in the clubhouse. Very popular player amongst his teammates, but the bottom line is if you don't produce, you're not going to be playing. So
that's a tough job being a GM, man. That's some tough decisions.
And so we've called up Jack Neely to replace him. Who is Jack Neely? That was the question I had. Jack Neely is who we got from the Yankees for Mark Leiter Jr. And he's been tearing it up in the minor leagues. He's been striking out everybody. And his ERA is in the mid twos. He throws mid 90s. I haven't seen him yet, so welcome to Chicago, Jack, and hope you can contribute. Speaking of Mark Leiter Jr., since we traded him to the Yankees, he has a 6.48 ERA with the Yankees, a 2.4 WHIP, 8.1 innings pitched, 16 hits. Got rid of him right in time.
Yeah, amen.
Not far behind him, Christopher Morel, his first 2 games with the Rays, when we traded him there, he had a home run in each game. He has not hit a home run since, and he is batting 141 since he's been traded to Tampa. I wouldn't give up on him. I think there's a lot there to work with. But yeah, there's a reason after the trade deadline, we've started playing much better. Paredes is a big upgrade at third base. He is not a gold glove fielder, but he is a good fielder. And he takes really good at bats, makes a lot of contact and takes his walks. And Leiter Jr. has been when his splitter is working, he's unhittable. particularly even though he's right-handed against left-handers, very effective. But for some reason, he goes through stretches where he can't find the splitter anymore. And when he doesn't have the splitter, he is a double A pitcher at best. So, oh, but let's go through the games. We also only played 5 times this week, had a record of 2-3, not the best, but hey, we picked up a game on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday, we played Cleveland for the second time while we were recording, and we lost 2-1. Horner did have a couple of hits, but once again, we had Assad pitching, and Assad cannot get, and he can't get past the lineup twice. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 1 earned run, but then we had to bring in Smiley, and Smiley gave up a long ball, and we lost the game 2-1. So we finished the series in Cleveland. They brought the brooms out and they swept us like the dust pile that we are. We lost 6-1 to Cleveland. Offensively, Suzuki hit a triple. Yay, yay, yay. That's about the only good thing that happened.
Oh,
Bellinger drove in a run. We were bad. Tyone didn't pitch good, 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 hits. Merriweather pitched the 8th inning and gave up a couple of runs. So then we had Thursday off, and Friday the Blue Jays came to town. And Friday's game we won 6-5. Hap had a couple of hits, including a home run. Bellinger hit a home run. PCA hit a home run. Amaya hit a home run. Oh gosh, it was looking so good. We were hitting home runs. We were just smiling at them, and the ball was leaving the ballpark. Hendricks pitched 5 innings, only gave up 1 earned run, and we are firmly in control. But who do we bring in the ninth? We bring in whom? Hector Neris. 1 inning,
oh,
4 hits, 3 runs. Blown save number 5. But we scored a run, Tyson Miller came in the 10th, held him hitless, and then we scored a run in the 10th and we won the game. So snapped our 3-game losing streak. We've been playing so well since basically since the end of June. It's kind of weird that we had a 3-game losing streak. I thought, oh, we've done pretty good. Then on Saturday's game, we beat the Blue Jays 3-2. Hap hit his 22nd home run. He is hotter than Georgia asphalt in the summertime right now. Bush also hit a triple, drove in a couple of runs. Swanson had a couple of hits. In this game, PCA got caught stealing home.
yeah.
I hated to see, I wanted him to get the record for the most stolen bases to start his career. If he was going to lose it, I wanted him to get it thrown out at second and third on a legitimate steal. This was a broken play, and by the rule, it was a caught stealing. So
Yes.
there was. This is the game where Steele pitched 2 innings. The rains came. Pearson came in, pitched a couple innings, got the win. Lopez pitched the final inning to get his 3rd save, even though he did give up a home run. He has pitched great this year, and the best thing about this game was that JJ was there. So
That's right. Hap led off the game with a home run. That crowd was electric.
gosh, he's been hot. And then Sunday, I'm really excited because we have Imanaga going, and we lose 1-0. Offensively, there was nothing to speak of. Imanaga, 5 innings, gave up a solo home run, and in the game, the wind was blowing from left to right. The only way a ball is going to go out is if you pull it right to the right field and let the wind just kind of push it over the wall, and that's how they won. They won on, I don't want to say a cheap home run, but that's how they won. So we ended up 2-3. Not the best, but not the worst. Cleveland wasn't playing at the top level when we went into Cleveland. They rebounded. They beat us. They spanked us around really good for the sweep. And then we took 2 out of 3 from Toronto, and we start a stretch where we play some of the weaker teams. The only 2 tough teams I think that we have left, we have the Dodgers and the Yankees left. But other than that, I think we've got a pretty good, favorable schedule. The bad thing is with all these teams that are in the wild card race, we're kind of in the situation last year. We've got to win a wild card spot. We can't tie because we don't have any tiebreakers with anyone else. So that's in the race. So anyway, that was life for the Cardinals and the Cubs this week. Nothing great for each one of us, but
Yeah. That's baseball for you.
that's baseball for you. So, oh well, you know who else didn't have a great week?
Oh. Vince, I'm drawing a blank. Jeremy Connor?
Jeremy Connor. Oh, I'm joking. Jeremy Connor always has a great week.
Number one with a bullet.
Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. Okay. Well, JJ, we don't have a guest tonight.
I'll tell you about that in a bit. He apologizes.
Okay. All right. Is he going to be back on soon?
Yeah, I'll talk to him tonight and see if he can come on next week, if that's okay.
Okay. I don't
He
want
put it down. He was doing yard work and just blanked out. And I kept saying through the thing, I would go, hey, you can still come on. And then he'd read it like 15 minutes after that and didn't think it was still going on. So
yeah, we're not gonna tell you what the subject's gonna be because it's really cool. So
oh yeah.
We went like almost 2 years without a guest, and then the last 3 weeks we've had this happen twice.
Yes. Yeah, that's crazy.
Nobody likes us anymore.
I don't know. They get, you know what it is? They get cold feet. They're coming into the, in the big arena here. It's Joe Rogan and then it's us. So, okay, that scares a few people, Vince.
Okay, so what are you opening up?
Oh, Vince, I have 2023 Ronald Acuna Jr. Series 1, and look at this. Walmart has got them down to $5 a pack. Look at that. Big one there.
Can't beat Walmart. I do have to open up the back. I'm not going to look at the name. I just need to see the year because Dondras doesn't put the year on the package, which agitates me.
Them orange ones might be 91, but I'm not
These
sure.
These are 90 Dondras. 90. I've got the 90 Dondras right there.
Hey.
Pictures were cartoon characters. So
very good.
Want to go first?
Well, sure. Let's see here. And I bet, I ain't going to say Hall of Famer because it's 2023, but I bet somebody we mentioned tonight will be in there. That's always how it happens. Okay. A Pittsburgh Pirate pitcher here, JT Brubaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember that movie, Brubaker?
Yeah.
Was that Joe Don Williams? I'm not sure.
That was from like the 70s, wasn't it?
Yes. Very good. Very good. All right. Cub pitcher, rookie card, Brandon Hughes. Is he still a Cub?
I don't think so.
I don't know much about this.
He's injured.
Okay. All right. I don't even remember this kind of uniform for the Cubs, to be honest with you. I don't remember that one. Well, we did mention this guy. Hope he gets a quick recovery. Ronald Acuna Jr. There he is right there.
Ronald Mack.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Blake Snell. There he's with the San Diego Padres. Here he won a Cy Young. City Connect uniforms. Let's see here. Corey Lee from the Houston Astros. Now look at this smile. This is a happy man right there. He's in the big leagues. He's got that $1 million smile. Probably do commercials for Colgate right there or something.
I'd be smiling too if I played the majors.
Oh, yeah, I'd be a happy customer. Max Fried, Atlanta Brave right there.
Oh, yeah.
Another guy who's had some injuries with them. Oh, Carlos Rodon, and this is back when he was with the Giants before he signed that big contract with the Yankees.
Yep.
Who else we got here? Ryan Mountcastle, one of the big pieces of that Baltimore Oriole team. Outstanding player.
Yeah.
They're going to have problems when all those guys become free agents. I don't know if they can sign them all. Uh, Mike Yastrzemski right there making a sliding catch.
Grandbaby Yaz.
Yes, that's right. He's had a nice career. Oh, Clayton Kershaw.
Mm.
I hope he gets right. This would be nice. I know he's getting close to 3,000 strikeouts, Vince. He's getting real close. I think he's like 34 strikeouts away from 3,000. We may never see another 300 game winner, 3,000 strikeouts. You never know about these kind of things. Andrew Benintendi has had a nice career. There he is with the Yankees. And let's see here. Oh, speaking of the devil, Cardinal, he's back being with the Cardinals, but there he is with the Boston Red Sox, Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham. He's about to walk over to Jock Peterson and show him who's boss. A fancy one here. Ism Kiner Falefa, who's with the Yankees. I saw him play with the Rangers, but that's a nice card right there. They're doing all kinds of fancy things in Topps
Looks like it's
cards.
snowing.
Well, they had some Christmas cards. Maybe that's it. And the last one I have here, they made it look like the older cards. And this guy had one heck of one season, Alex Manoah. And I thought this kid would
Yeah.
be, but I don't know he's fallen off the face of the earth. That 1 year, he looked fantastic. He's got a big build to him. It looks like he'd be durable, but I don't know what's happened to him. And he's kind of a microcosm of the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of superstars, a lot of potential, and it just, I don't know, it didn't work out.
Reggie Cleveland.
Reggie Cleveland, one of those type of guys. You're right.
Yeah. He couldn't stay away from the junk food.
Oh, hey, you're preaching to the choir right here,
Sorry,
Vince.
Reggie, if you're still out there.
You want to meet up and we'll share a box of
There was a
Hostess.
reason his nickname was Double Cheeseburger.
Was
That was
it?
seriously his nickname.
Oh, the double cheeseburger.
So,
Who doesn't like a double cheeseburger?
man, that's why I don't play in the majors. All right, I got the 1990 Donruss.
All right. How many Hall of Famers, Vince?
I'm gonna say 0. I'm gonna go for 0.
I'm going 1. I'm going over.
All right.
All right.
Oh, we have a puzzle piece. We saw his grandson, but now we see the fingers and bat of Carl Yastrzemski.
And a reunion.
Oh, there we go. All right. Former Cub, also former Ranger, Paul Kilgis.
Don't know much about him.
Yeah. Rangers, Cubs, ERA in the mid 4s. Yeah, he was never much. Former Cardinal, former Met, All-Star, Greg Jeffries.
Greg Jeffries. I remember they had a guy named Magadan Jeffries, and they had a nice core of young players that turned out to be okay. Had nice careers.
See, I thought Jeffries, I mean, his 1 year, didn't he win a batting title? I mean, he was a good hitter.
I don't know. I know he's an all-star.
Yeah.
He was an all-star.
Former Brewer outfielder, Glenn Bragg.
Oh, yeah. Humble brag.
Former Giant and Pirate pitcher, Don Robinson.
I remember him.
Pitcher.
Yeah.
Former Pirate shortstop, Rafael Belliard.
Oh, yeah. Raphael. Nice player. Nice bench guy.
For the Mariners, pitcher Gene Harris.
I remember Gene Harris. Not much about him, but I remember the name.
Oh, now this is a guy that I thought was going to, if he would have had a longer career, he could have been like a Craig Biggio type second baseman. He had some pop, he could field, but he just didn't have the longevity. Bill Doran, second baseman for the Astros.
Yes, you're right.
I mentioned this guy a few weeks ago when I was talking about the Dick Williams book, when Dick Williams was trying to help him with his batting, and he just said something like, well, God will take care of it. And Dick Williams spout went through the roof. Alvin Davis.
Alvin Davis, a rookie of the year.
Yeah, really good career. Listen to these numbers. I mean, we forget how good he was. Rookie of the year, his rookie year, he had 287, 18 home runs, 78. His best year, 87, he hit 295, 29 home runs, 100 RBIs. 89, 21 home runs, 95 RBIs, a 305 hitter. This guy could play.
He was
And
outstanding.
it's too bad his career wasn't longer. Former Cardinal, Will Clark.
Will Clark, Mississippi man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, he played college with Rafael Palmeiro.
one of the great center fielders that people forget how good he was defensively, won many gold gloves for the Angels and for the Blue Jays, Devon White.
Very great
He also
defensive
played for the
player.
Tigers too.
Well, he was on those Blue Jays world champions.
Yeah, center fielder. I think did he hit lead off for that team? He's
Don't
good.
know.
Um, Former Cub pitcher. 1 year he won 18 games. Mike Bielecki.
I remember. I didn't know he won 18 games, but I always liked him.
Pitcher for the Brewers, Chuck Krim. I remember the name. I don't remember anything about him. Former Oriole, former Diamondback, played his college baseball at SIU, Southern Illinois University. Steve Finley, former All-Star.
Good player. He was a solid player. Played with a lot of teams, a lot of success.
Yeah, he did that. He's with the Orioles there, and he got traded pretty quick and then took off. Catcher for the Tigers, Mike Heath,
Okay. Played for Cardinals too.
inventor of the candy bar, the Heath bar. Yes.
Ah,
We just talked about this guy and had this guy on the cards not too long ago. Former Dodger relief pitcher Jay Howell.
yes.
Yes, father was Thurston Howell III.
And Lovey.
And yeah, Lovey was not his father.
Oh, okay.
This is the greatest name for a pitcher. Okay. I remember the Yankees had a third baseman named Mickey Klutz, Klutts.
I remember him.
Okay.
That's a great name.
This is besides Bob Walk. This is the
Oh,
best name for a pitcher.
all right.
Pitch for the A's, pitch for the Yankees. Eric Plunk.
Eric Plunk. Yeah.
That is who I have. I said no Hall of Famers, and I
You're
did.
the man.
So, oh well, they can't all be winners. It's like that scene in Bad Santa where Santa's drunk and he opens up the oh gosh, what do they call the little deal where you open up something every day at 12, 20.
Oh, yes. Yes, I forget.
And so he opened them up when he was drunk and he sees what he does the next morning. So he puts like chiclets and stuff in them. So the kid opens it up. Candy corn, he says, kid, they can't all be winners now, can they?
Oh,
Well, JJ, this has been our
next week.
shortest show in quite a while.
Yes. Well, still an hour and 20 minutes, you know.
Yeah, we still did pretty good. So
Oh, heck yeah. And we'll have a hopefully special guest next week.
special guest next week, and we're just a few weeks away from when we have our 100th episode, and I think we've got like 5 or 6 guests secured, so we're just going to have a panel. Hopefully, we don't just completely talk over each other because that would make some really bad content.
You're a good ringleader. You get it going there. You're a good
Shut up,
ringleader.
you. We're gonna have I think we're gonna have like 9 of us on here and just kind of talk about some of the things that we see from our teams this
The
year.
state of the game.
Yeah, yep. And very excited. Mark Marianello said he's going to be on here, so we're going to be having a Mets fan represent here. So
I am proud. I can't wait to meet this guy. He's fantastic.
yeah. All right. Well, JJ, you have a good week, and we will see you next week.